Hi again, welcome. This is episode number 78 of Michigan's AutoTalk podcast. We remind you, every episode of Michigan's AutoTalk podcast is about celebrating the automobile, everything automotive. We're also about helping and supporting you, car and truck owners across our great state of Michigan. And we are pleased to be with you. It is Phil Tower, producer for Michigan's AutoTalk. Al Schwinkendorf is here. He is present. And John Puhek is here as well. We've got some new gear. We've got new microphones and new shiny hats, and we're ready to go. And we are pleased to welcome back. We haven't seen our friend Josh Russell, executive director, and the guy who runs the amazing, I call it the Land of Oz of the southwest Michigan, we should say, the Gilmore Car Museum in beautiful Hickory Corners, Michigan. You can learn more at gilmorecarmuseum.org. I think it feels like it was almost a year ago, but that was summertime when we made the road trip to Hickory Corners and did some shows right in your conference room. It was a lot of fun. So welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me back. Yeah, it's what happens when you have a jam-packed schedule full of different, car shows and motorcycle weekends and special events, things happening. A few months goes by and it's hard to believe. Week after week after week, there's always something going on the weekends and Wednesday night cruise-ins throughout the summer. So I'd like to say we're just coming up for air, but here we are getting ready for a lot of things happening this fall and winter.
Yeah, and you overall, would you say, we're still kind of coming out of COVID, different numbers and everything from COVID. How would you say you did, at least compared to what you were hoping for, Josh?
Oh, we're very appreciative. One of the great things about the Gilmore Car Museum community and all our visitors and guests, folks who have come out, we bounced right back last year in 2021 after the pandemic, and with all of the different, car shows and concerts and special events and things that we had going, we were able to reach, basically back up to pre-pandemic levels. We're having a strong, solid year this year. And so, yeah, we're very thankful. The Gilmore Car community, everybody came out after the pandemic. So last year in 2021, with all the shows and events and things we had going on, our attendance was back up to pre-pandemic levels. And so far this year, we're having a very strong year, and have a lot of fun and interesting and new things coming up for the rest of this year. So we hope that we'll finish the year with just as strong attendance as we had last year.
Well, this episode is released on Thursday, October 13th, and you guys aren't done yet. You're not closed up for the winter, and we just want to make that very, very clear. Obviously, the summertime is a great time to visit the museum. You've got killer car shows, cruise-ins. You've got all kinds of great events, concerts. You guys just have it going on, but you also have Oktoberfest coming out, the Deutsche Mark Oktoberfest and Color Tour. That's this weekend. But you also have, I think, probably one of your most anticipated fall events is Trunk or Treat, which is, the quintessential family event. But are those kind of your last official events to kind of wrap it up the regular outdoor season?
They are. It's been busy, right? In the last couple of weeks, we had some other interesting things going on. We had last week, we had our first Car Guy comedy night, and we had Adam Ferrara, national touring comedian and former co-host to Top Gear USA, do a stand-up comedy set. Last Thursday night, we had a rock and roll dance party with an early rock and roll show fundraiser event in our Carriage House barn the weekend before. And, and now, we're trying to finish the season strong with Deutsche Mark's Oktoberfest. It's an all German car show and all German car fall color driving tour. With German beer and traditional German food.
You said that was Saturday, October 15th, correct?
Yep. Deutsche Mark's Oktoberfest is this Saturday, October 15th. And then our Gilmore Halloween Trunk or Treat is coming up on Wednesday, October 26th. So on Wednesday night, the 26th, from 5 to 8 p.m., we encourage, everyone in the Gilmore community to come on out, drive their classic cars, their performance cars, their modern cars if they want to, but bring a trunk full of candy and just like show up like folks do for Wednesday night cruise-in, but instead pop open the trunks and be able to hand out candy to to kids who are in costume, from the area. So it's a safe and fun kind of environment to celebrate Halloween on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Just please don't let that one guy. There was always that one house when you trick or treated as a kid. They handed out toothbrushes. We had one of those in our kind of in the hood, and we knew
he was the one that got TP'd the most.
Yeah, we knew who to avoid. So I would assume trunk or treat. You don't have to worry about that. It's goodies and everything else. And Josh, what about for the Gilmore Car Museum fall hours? Do those adjust at all for people who just want to go out and check out the museum?
Not for the fall. So we're staying open standard hours. So it's we're still open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays and till 6 o'clock on weekends. But things will change a little bit in the winter. We're actually, as we get into the winter months in November and December, we have our Winter Wonderland nighttime holiday lights walk-through and drive-through experience coming up in November and December. And in that case, we're actually going to be open even later into the evening. And a lot of our guests do come in the evening to take advantage of that experience.
Yeah, and you've got the Corvette exhibit as well, Greatest Generation, the Evolution of America's Sports Car. I know that was going on when we visited. I just can't remember. Did we talk about that, Alan John?
I think a little bit, but I forget the details and the dates of it.
Yeah, it's thanks for bringing it up. It's the Corvette exhibit is in our main gallery, and that actually runs through March of 2023. So it's a great thing to come see in the winter. And perhaps since we had our last conversation, we do have there are six new cars, special cars that are on loan from the GM Heritage Center. So we've got some really cool stuff that have been added to the Corvette exhibit. So we've got a C7R race car that was prepared by Pratt Miller. I think we have the last C6 that was produced. We actually have a Corvette-powered Camaro Z28 that GM put a Corvette driveline into and built to go break records at the Nürburgring, the track in Germany. Yep. And we even have a Corvair Monza, a Corvair Monza GT concept car that is on display in that exhibit that really you can look at it and see it absolutely influenced the design of the next generation Corvette, and Larry Shinoda, who wound up designing the Corvette, worked on that car. So you kind of can see how the history of the design of the Corvette kind of flowed through that concept car that we have in the main gallery right now.
Nice. Now, when was the comedian from Top Gear coming?
That was just last week. So Adam Ferrara was terrific.
Okay.
It wound up being a sold-out event. It was the first ever comedy night that we had, and so we had more than 200 guests there. Adam loved it, and he drove around in the little bit before the show. He came out. I showed him around the museum. He was able to drive our '59 Cadillac limousine, and we shot some footage. And he shot, he drove around in our one of our Lincoln Continental convertibles. And I'm happy to report that he didn't crash anything while he was there.
Yeah, exactly. That's his big thing. Yeah.
But it was
very nice.
But it was very, very fun and very funny. And it's the kind of thing that we look forward to, some of the new things that we're trying at the museum, and something that we hope is part of the schedule, each and every year going forward, having that the Car Person Comedy Night.
Yes, very nice. Well, I can tell you right now, I was unable to get down there, but I can tell you my 4-year-old son, every time we watch the American Top Gear, he sees the 3 Tanner Foss and Rutledge Wood, and he always goes, "Oh, there's Daddy's Top Gear," because I look very much like Rutledge Wood. And
when he goes to the barber, he said,
exactly,
"Make me look like Rutledge."
So we get a whole sort of commentary from him, and
that's fun.
we were really close to getting down there and doing that, but it just didn't work out. But I'm glad that you guys had a good experience with him and all that experience, because that is pretty interesting. It's pretty fun to get everybody out there and just have a good time.
It was great. Fun fact, maybe an obnoxious fact, but since you mentioned that your son thinks you look like Rut, I'm actually old friends with Rutledge Wood. I met him when we were both doing some work in NASCAR, and he's a big hot rodder, and he actually bought one of Richard Petty's old Plymouth Suburban station wagons way back in the day. That's when I first met him. And then I wound up working with Tanner Faust, the other co-host, and put together a deal with him with Napa chassis parts and Global Rallycross earlier, at a different time in my career. And that's how I met Adam, through those two knuckleheads. And so that's how we actually worked it out and got Adam to the Gilmore Car Museum last
Well,
night.
we're an auto care.
Yeah.
So we need to meet Tanner, and what I really want is Freiberger to come on.
Yeah.
So it's cool. He's another friend from a long time ago when he used to be editor-in-chief of Hot Rod Magazine and some of the other, before that Peterson publications. So I've been after him for a couple of years here to come visit us at the Gilmore, and maybe, if he's doing something for Roadkill, to try to have those guys stop by and maybe use our shop to do some work. So I'm working on it.
When he does, let us know. We have a funny story too. We had a receptionist, service advisor, whatever you want to call it, a gal that worked for us. And about 15 years ago, Monroe went out to, I think they went to the Whitecaps parking lot, and they did it was an educational thing about new struts versus old struts, how to upgrade your suspension and stuff like that. And my receptionist got in a almost brand new Mercedes-Benz coupe and blew out the transmission.
Hey, these things can happen. If it makes you feel any better, when I worked for the company that makes or made Raybestos brakes, I had a Raybestos rookie racing school, and we equipped ex-Bob Bondurant Mustangs with Raybestos brakes. And I actually had someone roll one. I had a customer guest roll one of the cars at a road course near Detroit.
No!
So those things can happen.
Yeah, it really wasn't her fault or anything, but I think she and John went out in the morning, and I was going to go in the afternoon, and they came back and go, "So how'd it go?" And she goes, "Well, when I drove the one with the new struts on it, it was a Mercedes, and I put it in gear and stepped on the gas, and it went boom."
No, he gives me too much credit. I wasn't there. I was still the one working back in the.
I thought you went with her.
No, I never get to go to do those fun things. I'm the one that gets keep working, doing all that stuff. I have heard similar stories of that. So.
Well,
I didn't go. I was embarrassed after that happened, so I didn't go in the afternoon.
Well, it's a fun thing. It's like. In this what we're all into in the car community, it really is a small world, right? Whether you're talking about the Gilmore Car Museum, the events that we have going out here, some of these other things we've been talking about, or us as the Gilmore being at the Muscle Car and Corvette National Show with Bob Ashton in Rosemont coming up, November 19th and 20th, and them doing, starting to do this past year the McCacken Muscle Car meetup at the Gilmore Car Museum. Whether you're at a car show or at a race or any of these other things, it winds up being a small community of just car people, and we kind of find each other,
That's
this spring we need to do a podcast from Model T driving school, and we need you to be there with us.
Sure, I'm the worst Model T driver. I don't think you want me as your instructor, but
maybe not as the instructor, but you need to be there because we need to go out and do the experience and sit and talk about it and do. That's the perfect podcast in my opinion. Is springtime at Gilmore doing Model T school.
It would be great, and the real celebrity of that is Jim Hart from Mendon, Michigan, who is our lead for the Model T driving experience and our head antique vehicle mechanic. So he keeps all those cars running and is a great instructor and is really funny. So I think Jim would love to, and I would love to have you guys out to participate in it.
All right.
Can't wait.
Well, yeah, and I think it'd be fun. We'll have to get Phil on it because I'd like to hear little sound sensors from like where you grind the gears. Like, okay, wait, now how do you start this?
Oh, trust me.
And you
There's
go
no
from
grinding.
there,
It's
like,
just bands.
It's just like, okay, yeah, rev the thing up and it goes, 3 RPM of you're cruising down the street, and yeah, it'd be fun.
We will be sure to bring extra microphones for that experience, and it will be a date in the spring. Looking forward to that. Josh Russell, we're going to wrap up this episode with you. We're going to have you come back for another episode where we want to talk about Christmas time and just, winter at the Gilmore, which you guys do not hibernate like the Bears do. I mean, you guys are busy throughout the winter season. You've got some great lecture series. We'll talk about that. But most importantly, as you're listening to this episode in mid-October, you've got Oktoberfest this weekend, then Trunk or Treat, which is coming up on the 26th. And you can learn more about all of these great events at gilmorecarmuseum.org, gilmorecarmuseum.org. Josh Russell, Executive Director of the Great Gilmore Car Museum. Thank you, my friends. We appreciate you being here, and always love having you on.
Yeah, nice talking with you guys.
All right, that puts the wraps on episode 78 of Michigan's Auto Talk. Of course, until next time, I'm producer Phil Tower.
I'm Al Schwinkendorf.
I'm John Puhek. Thanks for listening.